Despite all his rage, he's still just Nicolas Cage. Despite all his rage, he's still just Nicolas Cage. And someone will say his career can never be saved. Despite all his rage, he's still just Nicolas Cage. Hey guys, welcome to another installment of something I like to call Just Nicolas Cage. It's a little series where I very slowly work my way through Nicolas Cage's filmography. Today I'm going over the 1986 movie The Boy in Blue. So before I go over the plot of the film, I want you to look at the poster. It's pretty cool, right? Nicolas Cage looking shredded, wearing a bandana, pumping weights. So you might be thinking, oh, is this a Nicolas Cage kung fu movie? Or is it like a Nicolas Cage Rocky Balboa type thing? Well no, the answer is nothing like that. It's actually a lot more boring. The Boy in Blue is actually a biopic about Ned Hanlan. Who the hell is that? Well, he was a famous sculler from the 19th century. What the hell is a sculler? It's a type of rowing where you use 2 oars instead of 1, I guess. And the movie follows Nicolas Cage as he participates in rowing competitions and gets into various run-ins with the law. Let's start with Nicolas Cage, and before I even get into his acting or his character or whatever, I want to talk about his body. As you saw in the poster, Cage is in great physical shape here. I mean, rowers need big arms, so, you know, it makes sense that he bulked up, but this is probably the most physically fit I've ever seen Cage. In terms of his performance, Cage plays it relatively straight here. He kind of plays the charming bad boy, but it's more of a bad boy within the context of the late 1800s. You know, he bootlegs liquor and he sleeps with unmarried women, and that's somehow enough to get the locals chasing him with pitchforks like he's the Frankenstein monster. The supporting cast is pretty bland. Christopher Plummer, who's the other big name here, is fairly forgettable. The dialogue is quite bad too. I don't even remember the context of this, but I wrote in my notes that somebody says, "Big words don't butter the beans," which is pretty cringe. And on top of that, the movie's riddled with sports cliches. As for the rowing scenes, the musical score that accompany them work quite well, but otherwise I found them quite boring. I mean, even the continuity didn't really make sense between them. There's a part near the start where Nicolas Cage gets knocked into the water, and the other guy is like way off ahead. And then after a few seconds it cuts and Nicolas Cage is like basically caught up with him. It doesn't even really show how that worked. But I was thinking, is there even a way to make rowing entertaining in a movie? But then I remember that amazing rowing scene in The Social Network. Remember that scene that was beautifully shot? It had those quick cuts and close-ups, and the classical music was synchronizing to each stroke of the oars. So yeah, there is a way to make rowing look cool. This movie just didn't do it. So as a whole, I did not care for this movie, as you can probably tell. It's just a slow, unremarkable, forgettable movie. It's the kind of movie that'd be on at like 1 o'clock in the day on Channel 5 and you'd be flicking through and be like, what the hell is this? And then get bored and change the channel after a minute. I really don't get why Ned Hanlan, of all people, deserved a movie to be based on his life. Especially when you think about all the other amazing stories that haven't been made into biopics. I respect that Ned Hanlan was probably a talented rower, but did there need to be a movie about it? I don't recommend this movie to anybody. It's not even worth it to check out Nicolas Cage's rockin' body. I can't even fathom who would really enjoy this movie. Maybe rowing aficionados? Maybe old people, I guess, but there's nudity in the movie and stuff like that, so I don't even know. So that was The Boy in Blue. I'm glad I finally got it out the way. And next up is Peggy Sue Got Married, which actually looks like quite a lot of fun. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.